everyone, and welcome back. We're doing another deep dive today, and this time we're going to be talking about spousal IRAs.
Ooh.
Yeah. It might sound a little dry at first, but I promise you stick with us because this could actually really help your retirement planning.
Absolutely.
Especially if one of you isn't working right now.
Right.
We're looking at this article from Bankrate. It's called What is a Spousal IRA? It was just published November 1, 2024.
Okay.
And one of the most interesting things about this is that, even if one spouse isn't bringing in any income at all, they can still build a retirement nest egg.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, imagine this. You contribute $12,000 every year for 30 years.
Wow.
At a 5% return, that could become over $800,000.
Yeah, that's the power of compound interest and consistent contributions over time.
Yeah.
It's really incredible what you can achieve. And that's what's so cool about spousal IRAs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's even called the Kay Bailey Hutchison Spousal IRA.
Huh.
Yeah. And basically it lets a working spouse contribute to an IRA in the non-working spouse's name.
Okay, so it's almost like this secret weapon for couples to supercharge their retirement savings.
Totally.
But I'm sure there's got to be some rules and limitations, right? What's the catch?
Yeah, you're right. There are some guidelines.
Okay.
So you have to file your taxes jointly to be eligible. And then each spouse can contribute up to $7,000 in 2024 and 2025.
Okay.
Or $8,000 if they're 50 or older.
Okay.
But the total contributions can't be more than what you both earn together.
Okay, so let's say in 2025 a couple earns $10,000.
Right.
They couldn't max out both spousal IRA contributions. They'd be limited to that $10,000 total.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All about staying within the boundaries of your combined earned income.
Gotcha.
And another important thing, these are separate accounts. Okay. Not a joint IRA. Ownership stays with each person.
Okay, so it allows for kind of financial independence within the marriage.
Right.
But still working towards that common goal.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Traditional versus Roth IRAs.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that's always such a tough decision.
It's a big one.
Is there a clear winner, or does it just totally depend on your situation?
Unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay.
It really depends on your financial situation and what you're hoping to achieve. So with traditional IRAs, you might be able to get a tax deduction now.
Okay.
But then you pay taxes when you take the money out in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Roth IRAs are kind of the opposite.
Okay.
You pay taxes on the money up front.
Right.
But when you withdraw it in retirement, it could be tax-free.
So it's like choosing between a discount now or potential tax-free bliss later.
Right. Exactly.
But how do you even figure out which path is right for you?
Well, that's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
You have to think about your income now, what tax bracket you think you'll be in when you retire, and even how much risk you're comfortable with.
Okay.
If you think you'll be in a higher tax bracket later on, a Roth could be better. But if you need that tax break right now, then a traditional IRA might make more sense.
So it's like a balancing act. You really have to look at the pros and cons for your specific situation.
For sure.
What else should we be thinking about? What about income limits? Don't those come into play with Roth IRAs?
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Roth IRAs do have income limits for contributions.
Okay.
So in 2024, if you're making, as a couple, $230,000 or less, you can contribute the full amount.
Okay.
But if your income is between $230,000 and $240,000, then your contribution limit starts to phase out. And if you're above $240,000, you can't contribute to a Roth IRA directly at all.
Okay, so those limits definitely add another layer of complexity to this whole thing.
Right.
Can you give me an example of how that phase out works? It's kind of hard to visualize.
Yeah, so let's say in 2024, a couple's income is $235,000.
Okay.
So they're in that phase out zone.
Right.
Their ability to contribute to a Roth IRA is reduced proportionally to how far they are in that $10,000 income range. So they wouldn't be able to contribute the full $7,000 per person.
Oh, okay. So the higher your income, the smaller that Roth contribution window gets.
Exactly.
But what about high earners who are above that Roth limit? Are they just totally out of luck?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
You mentioned a backdoor Roth earlier.
Yeah.
That could be a possibility.
Okay. How does that work?
So basically, a backdoor Roth means you contribute to a traditional IRA.
Okay.
And then convert it to a Roth. It's a little more complicated.
Okay.
And there might be some tax implications.
Gotcha.
Depending on your situation.
So that's probably not something you just want to try to DIY.
Probably not. You definitely want to talk to a financial advisor first.
Yeah, get some advice before you make any big moves.
For sure.
Okay, so you were saying earlier that spousal IRAs are a secret weapon for couples.
Right.
Can you tell me more about that? Like, what are some of the strategic advantages?
Well, I think one of the biggest advantages is that it helps couples catch up on retirement savings.
Especially if one spouse maybe took time off to raise kids or care for family.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a really good way to kind of make up for those potential income gaps.
Right.
And make sure both partners have a secure retirement.
So it's a team effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's actually no age limit for contributing,
Oh, how?
as long as one spouse is earning income.
Oh,
So even if you know one partner is nearing retirement, but the other is still working,
right.
they can still contribute to that spousal IRA and take advantage of the tax benefits.
Wow. So even couples later in life can benefit from this.
Absolutely.
It's almost like a safety net
Yeah,
to make sure that both people are financially secure in retirement.
exactly.
It's amazing how like this one tool can be used in so many different scenarios.
Yeah, it really speaks to how flexible spousal IRAs can be.
Yeah.
They can really be tailored to fit different situations and goals.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of information here.
We have.
The rule is the contribution limits traditional versus Roth. We even touched on the backdoor Roth.
We did. If you had to sum it all up,
Okay.
what are like the top 3 things our listeners should really remember about spousal IRAs?
Oh, that's a great question. I think the top 3 things would be, first off, remember that even if one spouse isn't working, they can still build a really good retirement nest egg
Right.
through a spousal IRA. It's a great way to use the working spouse's income
Yeah.
to benefit both people down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you really got to think about the choice between a traditional and a Roth.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on your own situation.
Right.
Like we talked about your income now, what you think your tax bracket's going to be in retirement,
Right.
and even how much risk you want to take.
Okay.
And third, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
A financial advisor can really guide you through all the options and be sure you're making smart choices for your goals.
Okay, those are really solid takeaways. It really is all about maximizing your retirement savings as a team,
Right,
no
exactly.
matter who's working or not.
It's exact.
Yeah.
Spousal IRAs are all about teamwork
I like that.
when it comes to financial planning.
Yeah, one thing that really stood out to me in that Bankrate article
Yeah.
was that even though the working spouse is the one making the contributions,
Right.
the spousal IRA actually belongs to the non-working spouse.
That's right.
So they have control over the investments, the beneficiaries, the withdrawals,
Yep.
which I think is really cool. It gives them a sense of ownership,
Absolutely.
even though it's a team effort.
Right. It's still important for both people to feel like they're in control.
Yeah, it's their money.
Exactly.
It's been so interesting talking about all these different aspects of spousal IRAs.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we've shown that retirement planning doesn't have to be scary or confusing
It doesn't.
when you have the right tools and information,
Right.
like spousal IRAs.
Exactly. It can actually be kind of fun.
Right. Planning for your future,
Yeah.
getting to do the things you want to do.
And being secure.
Yes, exactly.
It's a good feeling.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on spousal IRAs,
Okay.
I think the biggest takeaway for me
Yeah.
is that it's not just about the numbers and the rules.
Right.
It's really about working together, communicating, and having that shared vision for the future.
I love that. Building a future together, brick by brick,
I like that too.
where both people feel confident and secure.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive. We hope this has been helpful for you and that you feel more informed about spousal IRAs.
We hope so.
Remember, the more you know about your options, the better decisions you can make for a brighter future.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.